everybody, welcome back to the Dice Tower. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Today we're taking a look at Quicksand from Horrible Guild. This is a real-time game, cooperative game, in which you are trying to keep all these sand timers alive and running as you flip them end over end towards a goal at the end of this track that you've built. Trying to play quickly enough so that they don't run out, but not so quickly that you flip it immediately after it's been flipped and oh no, you big dummy, now you got almost no sand in it. So that's what the game is all about. Let me go ahead and show you how it works. Just give you one. I'm going to show you the first one of many sort of different difficulty settings in here. And then we'll come on back and we'll tell you what we think of it. Here we're taking a look at the game setup for the very first level of difficulty, but the game comes with 21 different ways to play, with things getting harder as you go, eventually introducing new rules like silence among the players and more difficult sand timers and all of these extra things as well. So we're just going to learn the basic game here. The game is going to come with all of these pieces, of which every one we're using is set up, so I won't need the rest for level 1, and I will not need these blocked tokens for level 1 either. Also, the timers will have 3 different speeds at which they run out. We have the slow ones, these in the middle, and then the fast one right here, and we're only going to need the 2 slow ones and 1 of the medium ones for this explanation. We've got the deck of cards shuffled up, ready to go. So these cards are going to show a couple of different things. They'll have a shape, 1 of 4. They'll have a color, 1 of 3, or they will be a wild card like this. The idea in the game is once we are ready to go, everyone's going to have a hand of 3 cards. And once we are ready to go, then we'll flip these over, and these have the sand in there. And then on your turn, you have to play a card, and you will activate every one of the sand timers that is sitting on the card you played. That means if I play, for example, an orange card, I'm going to activate this one sitting on orange by flipping it over and moving it forward, and then this one by flipping it over and moving forward. If I were to play orange again, this one is the only one activated, and if it's blocked, then it simply turns in its own spot and stays there. And if I play a wild, I can move any one of them I want to. So again, I have to activate everything I can. If these are all like this and I play yellow, I have to activate all 3. I do not get to choose to leave some where they are. And they always flip and move ahead if possible. They cannot move. They just flip. So that's the idea, and that's what you're going to be doing. You play a card, you activate whatever you're going to activate, and then you discard that and draw a new card. The wild, like I said, lets you just flip one and move it forward, any one you want, or if something runs out of sand and becomes locked, then you move it off to the side and flip it, and it starts to run again right outside the tile it was attached to. You've got until that runs out of sand to rescue that one. And you can do that with a wild card as well. You would then flip this over and bring it back onto where it was. And the idea here, the objective, is to get all 3 of these past this sort of point of no return into these 3 spaces. So if we were to jump into the middle of a game with 3 players, let's say it's this player to go, all those sand timers are running, this player might perhaps do red. Flip this forward, draw a new card. Then I would go over here and I might say, I'm going to do circle. I would do that and move this one up and draw that. And then this player would go, they're going to go, wild. This one's about to run out of time. There we go. Okay. Then this player would go again, okay, gray. I'm going to flip this one and I'm going to flip this one. You also can wait, obviously, as long as you want to, because these just got flipped. Most of the sand is at the top right now, so they could wait a little bit. This player could just be like, okay, hold on. It's not really about speed. It's about being timely. They might want to instead try to keep this one from running out, which is getting close, and wait, a few seconds, a few more seconds here, and then maybe go, okay, triangle, I'm going to flip this one, and I'll flip this one. There we go. And this continues. Again, once you get it past here, it can no longer be lost to the side and still be rescued. And the idea being getting all 3 of these down here. If we do that and they're all still running, which they are right now, the players all immediately win the game. The first thing I'll say about this game, Horrible Guild has been on fire for me as far as their graphic design and productions go.
Mm-hmm. I
think lately, like, they are now a company that I associate with a look. They've gotten to that point. There's something elegant, something Art Deco about their games.
Oh, yeah.
The look of their games that I'm just like, oh, I love the way they make games look, the way they produce them. And this one has very few components in it. But again, those little touches are just wonderful for me. I really do like something as simple as the backs of the cards has that Art Deco-y vibe going on, their color selection.
Well, and the color selection is very limited, right? I mean, you're looking at, let's be generous and say 6 colors total in here. But it works really well, and it doesn't suffer graphically because of that. And I think it actually enhances it.
It's not gaudy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They managed to have a game which is basically colors and include green and orange as two of their main primary colors and not come across gaudy.
Halloween, gaudy, anything those could lend to.
So I really like the look of the game. I like the form factor of the game. I think it's a nice small box. I'm not a big fan of the windows in boxes, this whole thing, but it's not a big deal. It shouldn't affect anything, and I get that this sells at stores, so fine, and these are worthy of display.
I was saying, I think it shows that it does have sand timers without it being all plastered over the box. Sand timers falling off the side, something like that. I think it does lend very well to the kind of that classy look that they're going for with it. Speaking of which, though, me seeing sand timers, that's usually something I tend to shy away from. So I think knowing going into it, okay, this has sand timers, how is it used? I just find them too imprecise. I feel like it's good that it's cooperative because then you're working together, but in like a competitive game, sand timers are too much like, haha, I got it. No, you didn't. Yes, you did. Nuh-uh.
Mine is 2 seconds slower,
Right, exactly. And so it's just, I like knowing off the bat that it has it, and then being able to do a little bit more research.
Right. I am not someone who likes real-time games, generally speaking, and I certainly would shy away from games with timers, with sand timers. This one, making it cooperative, bringing the things it does to the table, I really enjoy it. I like this combination. This is a fun party game atmosphere game with timers.
Yes.
It is not... not that games with sand timers would necessarily be serious most of the time, but I think making it cooperative, making it be that like sort of rising and falling tension of, oh, come on, hurry, okay, yellow, boom, 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 whew, okay, draw a card, go. It's a really nice amount of tension. The game feels good to play. It is quick and punchy enough to not outstay its welcome, and I love the difficulty settings thing.
I adore that.
That is really good. 21 different settings, different sand timers. Eventually they start throwing in funky rules like silence, you can't talk. We've tried lots of these, and they work really well. We kept sort of being surprised.
I think it would be like, oh, let's not try the limited communication one because I don't tend to like that. And we liked it. Or I don't really like the one with this other rule. And it just kept surprising me how well they each worked. And what I really liked about it is it does bring that difficulty scale so you can kind of find your sweet spot or tailor it to your group. But it also gives you that customization for your play group specifically. If you have somebody that has communication problems or other side hates limited communication games, you can choose that one. And in the same way, it reminded me of The Crew, where you have this campaign kind of thing that you're going for, where it ekes up in difficulty and stuff.
Right.
Or you can just go in and do number 43 if that's kind of the one that you really like that your play group liked. So they're also standalone. Gave me that same feeling where you can find that sweet spot and really hone in on the rules and limitations. Are the sand timers with their different lengths, is that a little bit too much for your group?
Right.
I love that. For me, I love that because you're not just watching, all right, if we turn them all over, then we reset, because each timer might run out differently.
Sure.
With the different speeds and the lengths of them. I love that. Other people might not like it. So it's not just difficulty, but it's the customization for the play group that I think really is unique, and they did really well.
And the rules they throw in, the funky stuff. Sometimes I find these party games that you can modify with extra rules. to get lost in the woods a little bit. You know what I mean? And the extra addition adds too many persnickety things to be worth including or explaining. This one doesn't. I really liked that. Even the high end in which you play with the cards backwards. The high end, you play with the cards facing away. It might be difficult as all get out because people need to tell you what to play. But the rule's easy to understand, is my point.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not like, in this one, you have to, the card, you play them on the table, and then you can only play from this side or this side.
Yes.
If you pick one up in the middle, then you need to draw two more. No, okay? Keep it simple. That's the point. The point is, it's a game in which you're flipping sand timers, trying to keep them from dying.
It's variability and difficulty, not complexity.
Yes.
I love that.
Exactly.
So, very well done.
A couple of negatives for me, mild negatives, because I do enjoy the game. The big one is, this is a real-time party game. I'm still not going to be like, favorite game of the year. I like it, but just because of the type of game it is, I'm not like, woo, loving it. I like co-ops, though, and this is a fun co-op party game. My two things are that it has that sort of imprecision that I don't tend to like in games, in which you do that whole, play card, flip a thing. Oh, wait, was that out of time already? Oh, it looked like it was kind of... I think you ran out before you flipped it, actually. That thing. If you're going to get hung up on that, then, be careful about that. Don't play this game, I guess. If you're someone who gets hung up on, miniatures games and measuring, which I am, that's another one of those things, okay? And then the other thing would just be some of the higher difficulty modes, which include all 5 sand timers, can get a little unwieldy because as you play, say, a card that's yellow, if 4 of them are on yellow, that's a lot. You got to do a lot of manipulation.
Right.
They all have to go. You can't just select some of them, right? So if you're managing that many sand timers, then that's a little, again, persnickety. You just have to be. It might feel a little fiddly. During that first level, which I showed you in the overview, you're just dealing with 3 of these, so it's very easy. But that's it. Those are my negatives.
I think my 2 negatives, one is that it has colors and shapes. So on the cards, you can either play a color and then you do all the colors, or the other one the shape and do all the shapes. I don't have a problem with that at all, but I do worry it does make it a little more limiting, maybe for colorblind, something like that. So it's not something that's a drawback for me, but just something to know of and to look into beforehand. The other thing that I think is a little finicky of the game is the 2-step process for one of the sand time for your lost condition. If it runs out, you then take it off and you have one more to go through before you then lose the game. I like that because it's not just if one loses out, it's not instant death, so it gives you that little bit of grace, but it does heighten it just a little bit too much where you're like, I forgot we put it off and so I didn't see it, I didn't think of it, something like that. And so it's a little bit too much kind of upkeep. But at the same time, I love that you have that saving mechanism. So it's more of a neutral for me where it's I find it finicky, but I'm glad it's there. So that's kind of my one thing that I didn't, that I don't really know how I feel on. I feel very high, very low on it.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I like that it's there. It really shouldn't happen very much. It happened to, we played a bunch of games and it happened, I think, once. But, yeah, it's like an extra step. It toes that line, like I was saying, of that's kind of a persnickety rule. That's the only thing. I think it needs to be there. So you don't feel just kind of gut punched.
Right.
If one of them does run out, you're like, pay attention to save it. Save that one with your wilds. It also gives your wilds a secondary power of just moving one or rescuing one. Oh, that's important. So there you go. For me, I really like this one, and I was very surprised by this one. It's a game I figured I wouldn't. Not that I would hate or anything. I just figured I wouldn't be enamored with it. And you know what? I am kind of enamored with it. I'm coming down at an 8 for this one, which is very high for me for a game that, again, has all these ideas and concepts that I'm not normally attracted to. But I think these guys did a great job with this one. A really fun party game, one I would certainly recommend if you are someone who is looking for your next fun activity-esque cooperative thing at family night. At a get-together with the grandparents kind of thing, I think this is a solid pick.
That's a good icebreaker.
Coming down at an 8 for this one.
Yeah. This is the exception to a lot of things that I don't really like. You know, I don't really like party games and I don't really like abstract games, and that's how I would describe both of those I would use to describe this. But I do like real-time games.
Right.
And I feel like that drew me into this, as well as the elegant look of it. But what kept me coming back is just almost this addictive nature of it. Yes, it's real time and brings that stress, but not so much that you got to take a break afterward, you know? So I'm coming down at 8.5. All my negatives on this game were a lot of just like little bit of nitpicks. What I loved about it is the first time we played, we sat down, it was me, you, and Joey. Yeah. And it was here at the end of the day, and we pulled it out. We're like, let's try this real quick. It's a short rule book, you know? And I was excited about it. So we played it. We played 5, 6, something like that, games in a row. You know, we did 2 or 3 on the base, and I'm like, hey, let's go up. Oh, it just had that, one more kind of feel to it. Yeah. That's what, and that was only 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and that includes the teach. So it's so quick, it's so punchy, the real time's there, but it's not overwhelming. The rules aren't overwhelming. I'm just really, I think you used the word enamored with this game. I really like it. And it's the exception to things that I don't like. It's a party game that I would strongly recommend and play at a convention, play with grandparents, play on a weeknight, something like that. Yeah. It checks a lot of boxes and a lot of different atmospheres that I would bring it to the table at. So for me, it's an excellent game, and I'm at 8.5.
And that is a seal of excellence indeed for Quicksand, folks. So check this one out. I think it's going to make a great gift and a great family game, like I said. So there you go. That's going to do it for us. That's Quicksand. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Watch out for your sand timers running out.